What's up, tubers? It's your boy Chris P. Today I'm here with a very special guest, Terry Thyssen. Terry, thank you for being here today. She is a soil health specialist, and today she's going to show us how to properly take a soil test. Terry, why is soil health so important?
So soil is all around us, right? And so we want to make sure that our soil is the healthiest that it is, and especially for our small farms and gardens, it's important because it has a lot of benefits. So having increased plant health, less weed pressure, less pest pressure, better nutrient cycling, holding water better, like it has so many benefits that make it so that we can be much more successful in our gardens. And one of the tools that we use is looking at the chemistry of the soil through a soil analysis. So we'll go through today on how to be able to do that.
All right. Thank you very much, Terry.
Yeah.
Let's get digging. I got 4 raised beds here, and Terry is going to show us what to do.
So here in this garden, we've got these 4 raised beds, and they've all been treated roughly the same. They were filled with the same products. They've been treated with the same compost. So we're gonna just assume that they're all roughly the same. And when we take a soil test, we wanna take a core. And this, I'm using a soil probe. You can also use a shovel, but I've got it marked to 6 inches. So we're gonna take 6 inches straight up and down, and that gives us a good representation of the soil of where our plants are gonna grow. And we'll do a couple from each bed, and we'll mix them all together so that we can have a good representative sample of all the different areas. But how we actually pull the soil sample is we go through with our core, and on these beds, there's not a lot of organic matter on the top. So if there's any mulches or anything, we wanna move those away. But we go ahead and put the soil core in, and then we want to push it down to that 6-inch mark. And then we pull it out, and here you've got your representative or your core from it. So it's a nice dark soil, looks really lovely. And we're just going to do that about 8 more times in the different beds.
Soil's pH level. pH is just a number from 0 to 14. 0 being extremely acidic, 14 being extremely alkaline. Soils are usually 5 to 9, 5 being strongly acidic and 9 being strongly alkaline. So if your pH levels are off, it can definitely affect the amount of nutrients that your plants can absorb, and it also affects the microorganisms in the soil, and you want a lot of biodiversity in your soil. So 3 things that can affect the soil's pH level are: number 1, the soil's chemical composition, what it's made out of; 2, the age of the soil; and 3, the gardening and farming practices used on the soil, such as tilling. All 3 of these things can affect the soil's pH levels. And it's definitely important to know what your soil pH level is and what the pH level the plants like that you're trying to grow. Such as blueberries, they like acidic soil. And trust me, I know from firsthand experience they do not grow well in alkaline soil. I think that pretty much covers it. Now back to Terry.
Right here, I'm concerned about the color. Do you remember when we were talking and I kind of blew it off during the class where I was like, you guys aren't going to see this that often. The muntle with the gray colors of soil.
You said gray is not good, right?
A little gray means that you don't have great drainage.
Okay.
So keeping that in mind, but you've got really great like dark color. You can tell that it's dark and has a higher organic matter. I'll be interested to see what the, you'll get organic matter content back on your soil test, but I'll be interested to see like what the chemistry looks like. But then that's something where you can do like your cover crops, like a deep tillage, like a tillage radish cover crop, just to help kind of get into the soil, break it up, get some more aeration. And then having more of that microbial activity too will help just move things through.
Okay. Alright guys, we got all our soil collected from the spots where we've been growing. And now we're going to talk about soil health. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, so when we think about how to be really successful, I like to think of it through our 4 soil health principles. So we've got 1, minimize, and 4, maximize. So we've got minimize disturbance, and that lends naturally into our small gardens. And that disturbance is both physical disturbance through tillage, and it's also chemical disturbances through fertilizers and other products. You're not doing those synthetic fertilizers, you're using compost for your nutrients, and you're not using tillage on a regular basis. So those are 2 really great tactics. And then we've got maximize biodiversity, which we have, right? Like there's so much diversity in species that you have here. So nailed it. We also have maximize soil coverage, which is something that we tend to struggle with sometimes, especially like over time throughout the winter. But that can be done through using different mulches. You've got the landscape fabric back there, but you've also using that wood mulch on some of those things. You can use straw mulch. We prefer natural mulches for that. And so we want to have that soil covered, and we can do it with cover crops too. I like to think of as weeds as the world's natural cover crops.
Yes, volunteer cover crops.
Yeah, but we have actual species, and you've got some cover crops that you're going to sample, correct?
Yes, I actually got some on me.
Ooh!
Right now. Terry hooked me up with these in class. I got an oats and peas mix, and I also have a crimson clover. You want to talk about these for a little bit?
Sure. So the oats and peas are my favorite for beginners that are doing the cover crops, because these are ones that you can plant later in the year. So you've got some open space that you can still plant these. It's still enough time to be able to grow. And then they winter kill. So some of our cover crops you have to do something with in the spring so that you make sure they're not a problem. But these are going to winter kill. But you've got the oats, which is a grass. It's got nice roots that build up the biomass in your soil and above ground. And then you've also got the peas, which is a nitrogen fixator, taking nitrogen from the air and putting it in the soil that our plants can use. And then the crimson clover is a little bit of a next level because you have to do something with it in the spring, but you can do, it's a little late right now to be able to plant these in, but you can plant these in over the winter and do like some seeding. And then they pop up in the spring when they're ready. They start growing, they go to flower, and they're a beautiful early season bloom for those honeybees that you have over there. And they're a nitrogen fixator too, because they're a clover. So these are both really great ones. This one though, you're just going to want to have to terminate before it goes to seed, unless you want to continue to grow these guys for a really long time. And termination is just like weed whacking, pruning at ground level.
I can do that.
Great. So this is how we keep our soil covered. And then the last thing that we have is the continuous living roots. So we do that through our perennial plantings, but also like our cover crops too. So this one would do like an overwintering, would be those continuous living roots throughout the winter. And different cover crops will kind of overwinter and survive through it so that we have those continuous living roots. And we do that because we want to feed all of the biology in our soil, so it's an ecosystem. And then when we have a good ecosystem, we have an incredible planet.
That's right.
Tasty veg.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good.
All right, well, I think that about wraps things up. So we learned about soil health today and why it's important to get your soil tested and why it's important to cover up your soil. And I think that's about it.
For the love of our soils.
Well, thank you very much, Terry, for coming out to Munk today, and I hope you guys learned something. Peace.
Happy growing. Remember the 4 soil health principles?
I don't believe I do.
That's all right. That's all right. It's not on the quiz. It's fine.
That's good. I'm sure you do.